Next up.
Ooh. Fresh
At UFC
fresh face
300.
Aljo. I like that.
We have he's got a little smirk. He looks like a Neutrogena commercial.
Hey, he looks like
he's
got
glowing.
Baby eyes. Yeah, he's Jesus.
That literally
Christ.
is like a Neutrogena commercial face. Perfect
Jesus,
smile,
Aljo,
perfect
my
skin. Yeah.
God.
Damn.
That's a fucking look he's giving me right now.
All right, relax. Relax. We got Calvin Kattar. I say Calvin Kattar, and people hate that I say Calvin Kattar. I have been saying this guy's name for like 15 years. I'm from Connecticut. He's from Massachusetts. I was managing professional fighters forever. A lot of fighters that fought him and were in the same gyms on the same regional scene. I've had many conversations with him. I've met him many, many times in the same circles. I say Kattar. I've been saying Kattar for 100 years. This doesn't make it right. I'm not saying it's right, but people are like, don't you listen when you do the research? I hear them say Kattar. Yeah, now I'm confused. I hear them say Kattar, but I've been saying Kattar for 15 years. It just is what it is. Calvin,
great story.
Kattar taking on Aljamain Sterling. Calvin Kattar, 23-7 overall. He is only 2-3 in his last 5, and he is coming off an 18-month layoff after blowing out his knee in a very unfortunate situation. He's taking on Aljamain Sterling, 23-4 overall, former world champion, 4-1 in his last 5. He is making his featherweight debut. He lost his belt. He got knocked out cold. And then he said, let me gain 10 pounds. That will fix all of my problems. And this is an interesting fight. People do not like my breakdown on this fight, but we got Calvin Kattar. This guy's a very good, clean boxer. Probably one of the more technical boxers in this division. He's fast. He's accurate. His hands are always where they are supposed to be. And he's always firing back, bang to the face, back, bang to the face. Fast, accurate, has some power in there as well. And as everybody else is in that New England Cartel fight gym, he is insanely tough. His takedown defense is listed at an incredible 91%. But you dig a little deeper and you realize it has only been tested a handful of times. There's not a ton of actual hardcore wrestlers that were trying to take him down that built up that record. He's taking on Aljamain Sterling. This guy is a backpack grappler, meaning he literally wants to get you to the ground and hang out on your back. He's going to latch onto you like Skin, like Damon Jackson, like the Leech, and he's just going to hang out back there and try to make something happen. Over time, he has developed his own striking style. He throws out a lot of kicks, lands a good amount of significant strikes per minute with 5. He only absorbs about 2, and that's because he does do a good job with the range control, with the footwork, with the kicks. He is coming off of that title loss. He was knocked out by Sean O'Malley, and that did force him to move up in weight. And listen, we have talked about this in the past. Jacob has a tweet where he listed out just the horrendous wrestling takedown numbers from Aljamain Sterling. His takedown accuracy is only 24%. He is 12. He got 12 takedowns. And then he missed 63 in his last 5 fights. In his last 5 fights, he has missed 63 takedowns. He has failed to take down his opponent 63 times in his last 5 fights. But as insane as that sounds, right? As horrendous as that statistic is, Aljamain Sterling might be the best wrestler, or at least the most determined wrestler that Calvin Kattar has ever fought. If you go through his fight history, sure. He fought the heavy-handed Smeagol in Josh Emmett. He doesn't use his wrestling. And he fought Zabit. Zabit is a very good wrestler. He didn't use it either. Aljamain, I think, is the only person that's going to come forward and shoot 1,000,000 takedowns over. If Calvin was fully healthy, he didn't come off an 18-month layoff. He didn't just shatter his knee. He didn't have all those issues. If that was the case, I would be all over Calvin Kattar here. I wouldn't even think about it. I'd say he could defend these trash takedowns. He's going to be 1,000,000 times a better striker. Not even close. He's also going to be bigger. It's not even close. But the 18-month layoff concerns me just a little bit. I think he's going to be a step behind. And as we know, layoffs affect strikers far more than grapplers. It's going to take him a little while to get that timing back, to trust his leg. So I am going to ever absurdly low, ever so slightly lean Aljamain Sterling here. But I do genuinely think that this could be a trap. I don't think Aljo's going to look good at all. I think he's going to win some bullshit decision because the judges all of a sudden do like cage control. Because as we've seen in the last couple of months, these judges hate cage control. But I think they will like it a little bit here. I think Calvin's going to be a step behind for the first round or two, and then it's going to be hard to catch back up, all because of that layoff. Jakey boy, what do you think?
Yeah, I've had my definitely my ups and downs with Aljo. I know Aljo probably better than anybody in this world because he's been my lock of the week a couple times. He's been my anti-lock of the week. I picked him against Petr Yan in both of those fights. I picked against him with Sean O'Malley. I've had my ups and downs with Aljo. I know him very well. What I know about Aljo is the reason I picked against him against Sean O'Malley is because Sean O'Malley his footwork is just absolutely insane. I knew that Aljo was not going to be able to track down a guy like Sean O'Malley. And on his entries, I knew he was going to get hit because he was going to get a little bit desperate. Calvin Kattar is not, and I'm going to call him Kattar because I don't give a fuck. Calvin Kattar is a guy that isn't quite as quick, right? These 145ers aren't quite as quick with the footwork. So I think Aljo has the opportunities to get to a leg. And if he gets to a leg, he can be pretty successful. He just has issues sometimes really getting to those single leg type positions. What I'll say about Aljo, and that you're going to probably laugh out and people are going to make fun of me, but I don't really give a fuck, is Aljo is a very underrated striker. And people have given him this reputation that he cannot strike because he fought probably one of the best boxers in the UFC, regardless of weight class, in Petr Yan. Definitely one of the best overall strikers in Sean O'Malley. But people forget against Pedro Munoz, who's a very good striker, very good boxer. He couldn't get a takedown. Outstruck him by 50 significant strikes, won that fight. Against Jimmy Rivera, couldn't get a takedown. Outstruck this guy by 80 significant strikes. Aljo has that funk master style, and it's very effective. It's very effective in decision-type fights because he is constantly scoring. He is constantly the guy moving forward. In that Petr Yan fight where he got the fourth round DQ and everyone thought he looked shit in that fight, couldn't get a takedown, outstruck Petr Yan, right? The optics weren't great in that fight because he was so desperate with the takedowns, but he still outstruck Petr Yan. In that second fight, only was down by 1 in the striking to Petr Yan. This guy has good striking. He can win fights with striking. I believe he can come into this fight, not get a takedown, not even try to shoot a takedown, and beat a guy like Calvin Kattar with his pressure striking, just scoring more points. I still think he's going to get the takedowns. I think there's an opportunity here for Aljo to close the distance with that pressure striking. Calvin isn't a footwork, get out of there like a Sean O'Malley. He's a little bit more stationary, get him against the fence. And like Brendan Allen, Aljamain Sterling isn't a guy that necessarily needs a takedown. Right, he'll just kind of get in that little one hook position, throw the yellow hook over. All of a sudden, he's got your back, and you're in big trouble if he has it. So, I can't trust a guy like Calvin Kattar, who is going to be, I think, 37 years old this year, coming off a year and a half layoff, a knee injury, and I haven't really seen too crazy from him lately, especially with the power. Right, I don't think he's going to be able to put out a guy like Aljo. Aljo moves around; the pressure's going to be too much, and I like Aljo here.
No, the layoff is you're also saying Kattar now too.
I literally said
You're saying Kattar, yeah.
No, I say Kattar every time. I said I was going to say Kattar, and I don't give a fuck.
Well, now I'm forgetting the right way to say it.
Kattar is what you're supposed to say.
The country. The only reason I'm on the Aljo side is the layoff. Without the layoff, if we had seen Calvin recently, it'd be a very different situation. But we didn't, and we haven't.
And
so you and I are aligned here.
I saw on the embedded is the last, I don't know how long he's been working with them, but Aljo's been working with Dean Thomas. He's been in Vegas and stuff. He's been working with Dean Thomas. And Dean Thomas is a fucking smart ass dude.
Yeah, he's got fight IQ through the roof.
You hear him break down fights. He knows what to look for. He knows what is going to work in fights. I think that's a great asset for Aljo to have for his camp.
I agree. And I'm not trying to disparage the Longo fight camp. They've put out some world champions and some high level things. They don't always have the best game plans. I think they've got a good pack of guys that have been iron sharpens iron or iron forges iron, whatever the fuck it is. And I think they have been successful.
Diamond is the diamond.
They have been successful together. They haven't really built anybody from nothing recently. And I don't think they're evolving as a gym. Like we see Merab be Merab. We don't see Merab all of a sudden better at anything. We haven't seen Aljo get better at anything. And this is a comment that I saw that I did like, is Aljo went from barely winning split decisions every time out to getting flatlined. And I get that point. That point is basically Aljo wasn't this dominant. He is quite literally the most decorated bantamweight champion of all time. But he barely, there's an asterisk how he won the belt with the eye poke, or the knee to the head. Then there was a bad split decision. Then he fought a dude with one arm. He's barely winning those fights, barely keeping his belt. Then he finally fought somebody very good and got knocked out cold. I agree with you're not wrong. And that's why if it wasn't for the freaking knee injury, we'd have a whole different situation here.
Aljo rolls him.
It's better for the division if he does. So let's hope that's what happens. You're going to spend the $8,400 in DraftKings. That's a great price point if he rolls them.
I think there's an opportunity for. Honestly, one of my biggest prediction here is I don't think. I kind of in my breakdown said it could have been a close fight, but I think Aljo either fucking smokes him or looks clueless. I think one of these guys smokes the other. Aljo comes in and it's just too much. Like you said, Calvin could come in, look sharp with the striking, and Aljo can't get the takedown. He's just looking desperate. Or Aljo comes in, 145, looking big, looking strong, handles the striking, gets a takedown, gets the control, and smokes him. So I think somebody smokes somebody. And I like Aljo.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this fight. This should be the featured prelim. We'll talk about the featured prelim in a second. This actually should be the featured prelim in my mind. This fight has actual meaningful next steps depending on how it goes. And if you do want to unlock everything that you need heading in the fight week, go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. It is only $10 for an entire month. That'll give you access to every single thing that we do. And we have WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. Shoujo said Angelo made sure not to mention Henry Cejudo. So you're talking about how Aljamain Sterling got a gift decision against a guy who hadn't fought in 3 years? Is that the reference you're talking about?
Him too.
What a fucking joke.
Outstruck him too.
What a joke. A gift decision that most people think won. A guy hadn't fought in 3 years. What an absolute joke. Didn't mention that. Yeah, no shit. I also picked Aljo, you buffoon. Before you go, let me give you $50. Anybody who goes to WeWantPicks.com/bets and signs up with any one of our affiliate partners gets $50 as a thank you. Use the link, sign up, make a deposit. We send you $50 as a thank you.